You probably have guessed by the title of this video, today we're going to discuss the things that I like and dislike about the RS3. Had this car already for, what is it, half a year now? It is winter time, it's on winter rims, winter tires, so if you've seen this car with the black rims or on Instagram popping by in a different setup, that's because I had to swap it because of this weather. Welcome to Switzerland. I washed the car just before I drove here, but since it's winter, you just can't keep it clean, especially a black car. So 20-minute drive already made it like super dirty. Part of this time of the year, I would say. But let's get going and discuss the things which are good and the things which are bad in the Audi RS3 8Y 2022 model. Actually 2023 already in the papers, but you get the point. The first thing which I absolutely hate in the interior is every single time you start the car, you have to select the user. See, it says, welcome Dino. I'm like, what? Come on. And then every time you have to click next or select users. Of course, I click next. But you already know that you are going to be the main driver, or there is always one main driver for the particular car, at least in 90% of the cases. I don't know why you just can't set up like one main driver that's standardly logged in and you can only log out if you want to switch to a different user, or you just have a menu to switch to a different user. From a user experience perspective, that would be way more logical. Of course, I know what people are going to say is, yeah, but you buy the car because of the engine and everything like that, which yes, indeed, is mainly true, but please don't forget, this car, the one I'm sitting in right now, my car, has a sticker price of over 100,000 francs, which is really a lot of money for a Sportback. That's a six-figure car right there for something like this. And then to have these small quirks is annoying as an owner of a six-figure car. And of course, before buying the car, I did a lot of extensive research on the things which are bad or good about this car. And most things are good. And some of them, I'm going to repeat myself, I'm going to probably say some stuff that you've seen in other car videos as well. But it's different from someone who owns the car for a longer period of time. I already made 12,000 kilometers with this car. So it's I would say that I can really tell if it's something that's going to bother you on a daily basis or not. Or that's just a quirk that you see on like a test drive media car thing for a day. The next thing which I really hate about the car, it has to do with, again, interior. Good plastics, soft Alcantara, good plastics, soft plastics, but this stuff here, this is the most horrible cheap fucking plastic ever. And again, it wouldn't bother me if this was a 50 to 60,000 euro car or francs car, but this is 100k. The third thing which I dislike about the car, again, has to do with interior. At night, I have ambient lighting in the door and also shining down and in this, what do you call it, phone area, which is super nice. But I went for the optional carbon package, so to have real carbon here in the dashboard, but this instantly eliminates ambient lighting, which you can see in some videos the RS3s has going all around this dashboard. But mine doesn't, which is again kind of annoying. Why isn't it possible to combine a carbon dashboard with the ambient lighting still going under here? I mean, what the hell? Like, really, if it's aluminium or carbon, it shouldn't matter. It's not going to change the dimensions or anything like that in order to not be have the option to do ambient lighting, which is super weird. Fourth thing I dislike about the car, also again, interior. Fourth thing has to do with this gloss black middle console. I wish you could select stuff, different stuff from factory, but unfortunately you can't. I rather would have some kind of brushed aluminium or something like that, which is way less scratch sensitive as these high gloss black panels. While doing a service at Audi, they already scratched this stuff up, so I had to get it polished, which is again not optimal. Fifth thing which I dislike about the car, again, the interior, middle console. Same goes as here, cheap plastics on the side and cheap plastics in the middle, but these cup holders. I thought the guy from CarWow, Matt, was exaggerating, like, yeah, the cup will fly out with acceleration. But literally not a single bottle or cup or anything will be kept in its place here. Not a single one. I'm telling you, whatever you put in here, it's gonna spill, it's gonna fly out as soon as you are even mildly accelerating. So this really, my 2010 Audi on my channel that you can see, one of my first cars, the B8, had the cup holders here with also this kind of system where you have these pins in the inside, which was 10 times better than an RS3 a decade later that costs six figures. Come on, like really, Audi, this kind of stuff, no bueno, please. We move on to the exterior of the car. One of the things which I hated the most about my car when I got it is also the rear diffuser. So as you can see, I already have a Maxton diffuser, aftermarket one on there, but the stock one is just way too conservative considering this is an RS car. I would say the last thing which I hated about the car once I got it, it's the exhaust. The stock exhaust is just not loud enough. Even in RS mode, it's okay for an OPF car, but it could be way better. And I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, yeah, but you knew that, and it's OPF, and this is the law. But how come that other car manufacturers still within the OPF rules, for example Mercedes, can still have more sound, more pops, and I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of pops and bangs, but just louder exhaust in general on their OPF cars, and Audi cannot do it. They muffle them down way too much. You're gonna wonder now, you've been bashing the car for the past, what is it, 5 minutes, something like that? Why did you buy it? Well, as I said in the beginning of the video, there's one particular reason I bought this car. That's the engine which is in this car. The engine is a 5-cylinder, 2.5 liter, I would say a rally engine from a rally car. Audi used it in its rally cars back in the day, and this engine makes the best sound ever. It's the super nice characteristic of the drive of this car. I would say the handling, again, second thing I like a lot. So besides the engine is the handling of this car. The suspension stock is superb. Like really, if you're a guy that has one daily driver, as I do right now, and I cannot afford a super big sports car and a real daily driver, this is an absolute banger. It's really, if I turn it into comfort mode, it's a normal A3. I cruise around town, no problem. Go over bumps, no problem. If I put it in RS mode, it's an absolute fighter jet, and I'm not even joking. Say the suspension is something that really got improved on this car, and if you look further, then we have, of course, the brakes. If you remember, the RS3 8V had horrible brake issues, constantly having like melted brake pads, so those were bad. But then you also had the brake discs, which would deform under heat super fast, which is of course far from acceptable on an expensive car. Previous car was expensive as well. They did completely redo the brakes. Love the brakes. Brakes are amazing. Haven't had any complaints about it, even when pushing it for a long period of time in extreme heat. It's more than enough, and you really do not need the ceramic brakes. And one of the things I do like about the interior, I love the virtual cockpit. That I got nothing to complain about the virtual cockpit. I swear, this is super nice. The quality of the seats, again, super hugging, perfect. Of course, this all depends on how big you are. I'm 197, so what's that, 6'4" in US terms, and I fit easily in this car. I have more than enough adjustability in these seats. They're heated, they're massaged, which is amazing. So besides one of the bad things about this car, which was the exhaust, as I mentioned, is also one of the good things. Because you can easily fix it, as I've seen on the internet, with a different exhaust or something like that, which opens up and brings back the original 5-cylinder note, which is amazing. Something which really deserves a bit more attention, and which I haven't seen other people mention in other car reviews, are the lights. Like, not because it has an animation which spells RS3, but the fact that these lights at night, they illuminate things which are important. For example, they're smart lights, so it means that all these sensors in the front scan the road ahead. If there is a sign standing right here, it will light up this sign a bit more. If the system recognizes that it is a sign, it will light up this sign so you don't miss it. What it also does, it recognizes oncoming traffic, automatically dims that side of the lights while keeping the right ones on long lights and illuminating everything which is important for you. So these lights are super smart. That's super hard to catch on camera. I tried to film it at night, but it just wouldn't work. It was too complicated to film. But this is definitely one of the highlights of this car, that it's automatic, so it turns on the night lights by itself. It also switches, it also recognizes other cars so you don't blind them. It also illuminates signs and other things. One of the things which happened to me a couple of weeks ago, I was going to Germany and it was pretty late, and on the border here there's a lot of wildlife coming from the forest. And the car actually recognized a fox hopping across the field coming towards the road, and it illuminated it. It is absolutely amazing that a car could recognize a threat coming onto the road, illuminated it, and it gave me time to brake. I did see something, but it was very vague, and the car actually just shined a nice light on it, which is amazing that a car can do that these days. Super good, super helpful for your safety. Last thing I would say, the last good thing about this car has to be, so besides ride quality, the engine, the exhaust, the interior seats, the virtual cockpit, I would say that we have also the design of the car. Design of the car is amazing. If you look at it from the front, it looks super aggressive with those flared wheel arches. As you can see, there's a particular line right here where you can see like the original body and how much they flared those wheel arches, which is amazing. I think the best way to show it is like this, or maybe from the back even. As you can see, those wheel arches right there stick out quite a lot, which is amazing. If you look at this car overall, $100,000 car, franc car. This one is even more. I didn't pay that, of course, because that's a sticker price, but still, that's a lot of money for a car. I would say yes, it's a super daily driver. It's awesome for the city. So I go to the city and work. I live in the countryside, but I have to go to the city for work. It's a super nice balance. It definitely is one of the best cars I've driven, I've tested overall in the past years, I would say. And that's also the reason why I actually bought it for myself. But I have to say, for that price, I would have expected those final touches to be better than they are. But looking at the market, all the car prices are rising, materials are becoming more and more expensive. We're going towards electric cars, so I understand that the market is changing, but still, at this price point, I would have said this car is worth definitely a good 80k, maybe a bit more than that even. But 100 plus sticker price, definitely not. Hey, if you're interested in this car, and the prices have dropped in the meantime, so I know that they are not going for over 100 anymore. Some of them are, if they're fully spec like mine, but yeah, just keep that in consideration, that yes, it's a super good car, but please go do test drive it and see for yourself if you agree or disagree with the points that I mentioned. If you can live with that, superb, best car. If not, then you know that you have to figure out something else. But if you go back to that statement and look on which cars are available in this segment, A45S, way too stiff. Driven that, unmatched with this RS3. Performance-wise, yes, but it's just way too stiff and way too hardcore. That is a real performance car. And as I said, this is a daily driver, the best daily driver slash race car combo that you can get for the money, for this size and segment. I completely forgot to film an outro for the video. I want to thank you guys for watching this video about all the things I liked and disliked about the car. If you liked the video, please leave a like down below. And if you want to see the upcoming car videos, I've got 2 more to go. One is the running costs, which I'm gonna film for you guys. And the second one is a overall long-term review on the car, with some cool cinematic stuff and just in general some cool shots. In the meantime, you can go to my Instagram. I also have a car Instagram, which is in the bio of my own Instagram, where I have some cool shots of the car if you're interested in that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I see all of you in the next one. Ciao!